You keep blaming yourself for their pain, their distance, their coldness, their moods, and their choices. You keep carrying the weight of two people, your emotions and theirs, as if it has always been your job to fix what someone else has broken inside themselves. And deep down, you know the truth. You feel responsible for someone who keeps hurting you, because somewhere inside you, your heart was trained to believe that love means carrying the emotional weight of others. But today, in this moment, I want to talk to the part of you that is exhausted. The part that does not want to keep explaining, fixing, soothing, or apologizing for things you didn't even do. The part that is tired of walking on emotional glass. The part that wonders, quietly, if you are slowly losing yourself just to keep someone else from falling apart. Let's talk about why you feel responsible for someone who continues to hurt you, and how to finally begin releasing that responsibility without losing your compassion, without shutting down your heart, and without becoming someone you are not. Because freeing yourself emotionally does not mean you love less. It means you finally love yourself too. It starts with understanding one painful truth. You are not responsible for the emotional wounds that were created long before you arrived in this person's life. You did not plant the scars they carry. You did not build their internal walls. You did not teach them to run, to shut down, to become distant, cold, avoidant, unpredictable, or self-protective. Their wounds were shaped by experiences you never witnessed. And yet, here you are, trying to heal them with your presence, your softness, your care, your words, your consistency, and your loyalty. You took responsibility for a wound that does not belong to you. Not because you are weak, but because you learned at some point in your life that love means over-functioning. Maybe you grew up being the emotional anchor for someone else, a parent, a sibling, a fragile adult, someone who leaned on you too heavily. Maybe you learned to anticipate other people's moods before your own. Maybe you thought that if you could just be good enough, calm enough, perfect enough, safe enough, patient enough, the people you love would finally stop hurting and start loving you back in the way you needed. That pattern didn't come from this person alone. It's older, and that is why it feels familiar. But here's what you need to hear. Being responsible for someone's emotional well-being is not love. It's self-erasure. When you take responsibility for someone who keeps hurting you, you end up living in a constant emotional negotiation. You tell yourself, maybe I misunderstood. Maybe they're just stressed. Maybe it's my fault for saying it wrong. Maybe I shouldn't have expectations. Maybe if I just stay patient a little longer, they'll open up. Maybe I triggered them. Maybe I should apologize first. And suddenly, without noticing, you're not living your own emotional life anymore. You're living theirs. You are reacting to their reactions. You are soothing their discomfort while ignoring your own. You are shrinking your needs so theirs don't look too big. And you are walking around with a heart full of empathy for someone who continues to show you that they cannot or will not meet you halfway. So let's talk about how to stop. Not by becoming cold, not by becoming detached, not by shutting down, but by remembering that love is a two-person equation, not a solo performance. The first step is this: you must separate compassion from responsibility. Compassion says, I care about your pain. Responsibility says, your pain is my fault. These are not the same. Your nervous system learned to merge them, but they are separate truths. You can care without carrying. You can love without losing yourself. You can understand their wounds without making them yours to heal. The second step: stop trying to manage their emotional reactions. This is the hardest part for people with big hearts. You think that if you just choose the right words, say things calmly, avoid bringing up hard topics, soften your tone, or pick the perfect moment, you can prevent the hurt. But someone who hurts you repeatedly is not hurting you because you're communicating poorly. They're hurting you because they are emotionally limited in ways that are not solved by your perfection. Their reactions belong to them. Their triggers belong to them. Their shutdowns, their distancing, their coldness, their mixed signals, their inconsistency, all of it belongs to them, not you. The third step: stop taking their behavior personally. This one will save your heart. When someone cannot show up consistently, cannot communicate openly, cannot take accountability, cannot hold emotional space, cannot meet you where you are, it is not because you are too much. It is because your emotional capacity is bigger than theirs. And instead of rising to match your depth, they pull away to protect their wounds. They hurt you not because you deserve it, but because they cannot love at the level you love. They keep you at arm's length, not because you are unsafe, but because intimacy feels unsafe to them. The fourth step: you must give yourself permission to stop rescuing. You cannot save someone who keeps choosing the same patterns. You cannot heal someone who does not take responsibility for their healing. You cannot force someone to receive the love you are offering. And you cannot pour your heart into someone who leaks through every emotional crack and then blames you for the emptiness they feel. Your job is not to make their life easier at the expense of your own well-being. Your job is not to cushion them from the consequences of their behavior. Your job is not to protect them from their own avoidance, their own emotional unavailability, or their own confusion. You cannot rescue someone who is committed to staying exactly where they are. The fifth step: you must return to yourself. Every time you pull away from your needs to accommodate theirs, you lose a piece of yourself. Every time you silence your voice to keep the peace, you disconnect from your truth. Every time you absorb the pain they project outward, you abandon your own emotional safety. Returning to yourself means feeling your own disappointment, admitting your own hurt, recognizing your emotional exhaustion, allowing yourself to be honest about the imbalance, and choosing yourself even when they don't choose you back. It means seeing clearly that love should not feel like self-sacrifice. It should not feel like emotional parenthood. It should not feel like tiptoeing. It should not feel like constant anxiety. It should not feel like proving your worth. It should not feel like carrying the weight alone. The sixth step: create emotional boundaries that protect your heart. Boundaries are not punishments. They are not walls. They are clarity. They are the lines that protect your peace, your time, your energy, and your emotional health. A boundary can be as simple as, I will not chase someone who pulls away. I will not explain myself repeatedly. I will not accept inconsistency. I will not shrink my needs. I will not absorb your moods. I will not be responsible for fixing your emotional wounds. I will not tolerate cycles of hurt. These boundaries are not meant to control them. They are meant to protect you. The seventh step: understand that guilt is a sign of old conditioning. not current wrongdoing. You feel guilty when you pull away because your nervous system learned that love equals caretaking. When you stop caretaking, your body panics. It thinks you're abandoning someone, but you're not. You're abandoning your role in a dynamic that is killing you softly. That guilt is not truth. It's a leftover reflex from childhood or past relationships. Let it rise. Let it move through you. But don't obey it. The final step. Release the fantasy version of them. You are not attached to the person who hurts you repeatedly. You are attached to the version of them you imagine they could be. The version you see through your empathy. The version they showed you briefly. The version you believe exists beneath their wounds. But you cannot stay responsible for a version of someone who does not exist consistently in reality. Letting go of responsibility means letting go of the illusion that your love can transform someone who refuses to transform themselves. You deserve reciprocity. You deserve emotional safety. You deserve someone who does not make you feel responsible for their storms. You deserve someone who chooses you with clarity, not confusion. Someone who meets you, not wounds you. Someone who holds your heart, not tests it. And until that person arrives, choose yourself, again and again. Not to punish them, not to prove anything, but because your heart was not designed to be a permanent emotional emergency room for anyone who refuses to take care of their own healing. Stop carrying what was never yours. Stop apologizing for their wounds. Stop sacrificing your peace to manage their chaos. You are allowed to put the weight down. You are allowed to walk away from roles you never agreed to play. You are allowed to stop feeling responsible for someone who keeps hurting you. You are allowed to come home, to yourself. Welcome to Attachment Alchemy Lab. You're safe here.